Okay, this is my first time over here, and I'm talking about National Adoption Awareness Month. How y'all feeling about it? I know how I'm feeling about it. Honestly, I'm feeling disappointed about it because this is like my first time really paying attention to it. For years, I guess I've kind of known about it, but I never really tripped about it. I've been too busy doing school work or just working. I feel like all my life I've been either in school or working or both. So anyways, this is my first time really paying attention to it, and I did a Google search about National Adoption Awareness Month, and what came up in my internet search was language like, let's get as many adoptions finalized as possible. Let's get these poor children that are starving for family adopted right away. And it just really kind of broke my heart. And I started to reach out to other former foster youth and adoptees to see how they felt about it. And a lot of them didn't know about it. And then again, a lot of them knew about it and was like, ugh, I don't like it, right? And I understand why they don't like it, because what people don't realize is that every successful adoption means a failed bio family. And people are celebrating adoption like it's such a great thing, but they don't realize at the same time they are celebrating bio family being unsuccessful. And that breaks my heart. So far, I have spoken to, I want to say a handful, maybe less than 5 adoptive parents that say they grieve for their adopted child during this month because they realize that they are not with their biological family and that they suffered a loss. It's a loss. And so many people are not trauma informed. So many people are clueless about maternal separation trauma and how it is impactful for life. Hey, Ocean George, thank you for being here. Do you want to come up into the video and have a conversation? If yes, just put yes, and yeah, let's talk about it, because I'm really about having a dialogue around this. So my goal is to build a huge community of wildflowers that's busting through concrete to make change to child welfare, because the way it is basically a broken system. And for people to be celebrating bio family failure without even realizing that's what they're doing shows how strong the propaganda is being pushed. Like, private adoption agencies have marketing budgets that are billions of dollars. Okay, no problem, Ocean. Billions of dollars with a B, billions of dollars, to really push this Hallmark syndrome. This is kind of a new term for me, and I really do love it. Hallmark syndrome, where, there's couples that are like, I went to college, I got my dream job, I met my dream partner, we bought a home, we're living the American dream. There's only one thing missing. We just want to start our family, and we haven't been able to get pregnant, right? Like, we've been trying and trying, and we've spent so much money on, fertility clinics, and that's not working out, and we've tried everything. So now I guess we'll adopt. And if someone ever comes to me and says, we've been trying and trying, and I will just adopt, that word just is like a dagger in the heart, okay? Because just means it's not your first choice. And trust me, I speak from experience. Nobody wants to be your second choice or even third choice or consolation prize. Thank you so much, Ocean. Nobody wants to be that. And as an adopted person, you feel that on a daily basis that, they sacrificed so much because they couldn't get what they really wanted, but they settled for you. They settled for you. And trust me, that destroys your self-esteem, your self-worth, because it's like you're never good enough. As hard as you may try and strive, you'll never be their first choice. So, yeah, should be illegal. I so agree. Thank you, Ocean. I think so too, because, the goal of foster care is supposed to be on family preservation and reunification. So a lot of, couples that deal with infertility issues who have tried fertility clinics and things like that and didn't work out, and then went over to like private adoption agencies and found out how expensive it is. If you want to buy a baby, like, it is expensive. And then they're like, you know what? I can't afford that. So I'm going to be a foster parent and test drive a couple of kids till I find the one that I can mold and shape into what I want them to be. And then I want to adopt. Now, the problem with that is, remember I said the goal of foster care is supposed to be reunification and family preservation. The problem with that is, soon as these adoptive parents tell the social worker, we're thinking about adopting, all efforts by the bio parent start to get sabotaged. Because in some states, what people don't know is, in some states, social workers get bonuses for each finalized adoption. Now, I don't think that is true in the state that I was in, but it shouldn't be true in any of them. It shouldn't be true that as soon as these adoptive parents or foster parents want to become adoptive parents, that now all these roadblocks are put up in the bio family's way until enough time goes by that they can say you have lost your parental rights. And now this child is available for adoption. In my opinion, okay, so true in Texas it is. Thank you for saying that. Yeah, see, I'm still like looking at each state and how it's different in each state. And I think that's a problem too. There needs to be like statewide mandates. And I know there are some. I'm in California. I was born and raised in San Francisco, California. So I know there are some, so I have to look into a little bit more. But I know that was definitely true in my case. Like, soon as my adoptive parents, well, they were foster parents at the time, wanted to adopt, all efforts made by bio family got sabotaged and railroaded and pushed it. The foster parents were pushed into adoption. So it's sad. It's sad is what it is. Because I know for a fact, at least I believe in my heart and in my bones and my cells, all of that, that if my bio mom had the support she needed, if she had a good therapist and childcare, we wouldn't have been removed. Now, I'll be the first one to say, every case is not a case for reunification. Sometimes there are situations where there's extreme abuse, or the bio parents' mental health is so far gone that they're not safe to be around the child, or they just don't have what it takes to parent at that time. The same thing if they are struggling with the disease of addiction, and their disease of addiction has taken over in such a way that they cannot parent. Sometimes reunification cannot happen. I'll be the first to admit that. At the same time, there's a lot of cases where if we really did focus on funneling support and resources into bio families, they could stay together. Those are the cases I'm talking about. So usually when I have these talks with folks, they always want to bring up the most tragic, the most horrific. I'm not talking about those cases. Most cases are not those cases. So there's a lot of cases where the family could be assisted in staying together. And that's what I'm talking about today. And, for National Adoption Awareness Month, what if we focused on those cases? What if we highlighted those cases? What if we said, you know what? We are lowering the numbers of kids going into the system because we are offering this wonderful support. Now, I know for a fact, too, there are states that do offer some support, or they have it listed on their website, and then they feel like it's up to bio family to seek it out. So that it's questionable, like, how is it offered? Is the social worker being like, hey, bio mom, hey, bio dad, hey, bio grandma, auntie, uncle, cousin, whoever, check out these resources, you might want to look into this. Sometimes yes, sometimes no, but it should be 100% always yes. Because what they don't really kind of focus on is the fact that to have your children stripped away from you is heartbreaking and devastating. So it's traumatic for the kid, and it's traumatic for the birth mother too. It is traumatic. And some birth mothers are rendered unable to function after that. And that's what makes it cruel to then say, well, if you just go on the site, you'll see the resources available. And if you really wanted your kids, you would be looking for it. I mean, this woman is depressed and out of her mind. Come on now. Ocean, they do this to me too. I hate blanket statements like not safe. Yes, I hear that. Because I have actually spoke to social workers as well that say that they were pressured from their higher ups to be like, oh, the house isn't clean, it's not safe, and now that's a reason to remove. Even though the worker may have been like, I don't think we need to remove. So, so the house is a little untidy, but it's not unsafe. And, people are always saying, follow the money. Just follow the money and you'll see why the system is the way the system is. I know some people tell me the system was created to rip families apart in the first place. That's another conversation. But I hope to be coming on here on a regular basis, having this conversation with as many people as possible, because I am really trying to build a community of wildflowers to take action. Okay, I am an activist, organizer at heart. I've done housing justice for years, and I feel like I'm just using those skills in this arena. I wrote my memoir about my experience in foster care and in adoption for 3 different reasons. 1 being inspiration, 2 being education, and 3 being prevention. I hope to inspire those with lived experience to share their stories, because too many people have this hallmark view of adoption that just is not reality. And some people know nothing about it except for what they see in TV, movies, films, and which is usually made by Hollywood for entertainment purposes, not to change a system for the better. So I'm like, please get your information about foster care and adoption from folks with lived experience. Someone who's been there, who's lived through it, who survived it, like myself. So please do consider pre-ordering my book. The link, I'd like to think the link is everywhere, but I'll definitely figure out a way to attach the link to this video for folks who are not with me live, but will be viewing it later. Because something needs to change. This is, maybe we need to change the whole system from child welfare to family welfare. And maybe that will help people shift their view. Because too many people go into this with the savior complex of, I'm going to save these kids from these horrible bio family. You know, that's not a way that says, hey, bio mom, I'm on your side. I want to help you parent better. I want to help you have the skills you need to be successful. I want to help you get your kids back. I want to help you not lose your kids in the first place. You know, what's wrong with that? Oh, wait. I know what's wrong with that, because then you won't have rich or well-to-do and fertile people just extracting what they want and leaving the rest. Just extracting what they want and leaving the rest with a colonialism mindset. That's what it boils down to a lot of times, most times. You know, I have money and I have the perfect life. Just one thing is missing, the only thing I can do is extract from some impoverished woman of color, excuse me, so I can have what I want. So I can have the experience that I want. And next time I'll get a little bit more into maternal separation trauma, because yeah, that's a real thing that everybody who deals with children in the system need to know about. Everybody needs to be trauma informed and child centered, not me centered. Me. I'm going to have this wonderful experience. I'm going to have someone be able to call me mommy. I'm going to have this amazing connection. This kid is going to look up to me like I'm a god because I'm taking care of them. Ocean says, my brother went to 3 different adoption homes and never got picked. Oh my God. I'm so sorry to hear that. And the stats on the number of former foster youth and adoptees that go out like that is another red flag. It's a red flag and proof that the system needs to change. The system needs to change. You cannot tell me the system is about saving children, and then we have stats that say most foster care youth that age out of the system end up homeless with severe mental health issues, with severe substance abuse issues. And you can't tell me all that and then tell me the system is working beautifully. Beautifully for who? Beautifully for who? I'm so sorry, Ocean George. I am so sorry, because, you know, people don't realize how precious life is. And that's what I think about with my own life. You know, even if I knew 100% that I was going to reincarnate and come back to the earth, I'll never be Marika again. As far as I know, I only get one shot at being Marika. Even if I knew for sure I was going to reincarnate and come back, I won't be Marika with this set of experiences, with this life, yeah. Life is precious and not to be played with. Ocean George said so many. Yes, so many. And that's why I'm so happy that I'm strong enough and in a position to be able to have these conversations with people. I am 50 years old as of this year, and I am just now strong enough and healed enough to have these conversations with people. Just now. If you would have met me 10 years ago, 15 years ago, 20 years ago, 25 years ago, whatever, I wouldn't have been able to talk about this, because I was still living, hey, EM, I was still living in shame and embarrassment and, you know, and lying to myself like, oh, you know, nobody, it's not that bad maybe, or, you know, other people have gone through so much worse, so who cares? And that was old programming. That was old programming that had me, you know, I heard over and over, tell somebody who cares. Oh, by the way, that's nobody, so shut up. Tell somebody who cares. Nobody cares. Nobody cares. That, between that mantra playing in my mind over and over, and keep family business in the family, like, I was literally programmed to keep quiet about what was going on and terrified to tell anybody anything, because one, if I talk, who's going to believe me? And if I talk, where do I go after that? I was so scared of going someplace worse. Hey, babe. I was so afraid of going someplace worse. I was afraid of, you know how they say, the devil you know is better than the one you don't know, right? And I was also afraid nothing would happen at all. You know, you build up all this courage to tell someone, you know, I'm being tortured at home, I'm being whatever at home, and nothing happens. It's like, why bother? Why bother? So, like I said, after years and years of therapy, years and years of all types of therapy, like talk therapy, drama therapy, somatic therapy, EMDR. Um, Thank you so much, Ocean George. I appreciate that. After all of these healing modalities, spiritual healing, prayer, meditation, and trust, those helped me a lot. Trust me, they really did. But it really wasn't until finding community online. Every platform has a former foster youth and adoptee community to plug into. I feel like that just boosted my healing to the next level. Like, seriously, that really gave me the strength and the courage to speak up and tell my story. Because finally, I wasn't alone. Finally, I wasn't alone, and I was meeting other people with similar experiences. And that's the part that just grinds my gears, seriously. Because if this was like a one-off, if my situation was a one-off that never happens, you know, I'd be like, okay, that sucks for me. I went through all these things, but that never happens. But the fact that my story is not unique, that too many kids go through what I went through, it is proof, once again, that the system is broken and needs so much repair. And, you know, some people say it doesn't need repair. It needs to be completely dismantled and rebuilt. So that's another conversation for another day. Do we dismantle and rebuild, or is there room for repair? I'm trying to have this conversation with as many people as possible. I'm trying to build a community of wildflowers that we are going to get together and make real change by raising awareness and by doing some policy work, because that's what it's going to take. Just this year in California, we got AB 562 that states the first 30 days from removal, when a child is removed from the family, the social worker has, within that 30 days, they have to focus on kinship care, meaning they have to find a qualified family member to come in and make it and take custody of the child, or just take care of the child, right? And if that doesn't work, then we need to move to fictive kinship care, meaning that we have to find someone in the community, a community member. That could be a church mother, that could be just someone who in the community who knows the child's culture, because cultural mirrors are so important for children. And then if those things don't work and they fail, then you place a child with a complete stranger. Ocean George said, yes, makes me want to make change too. Thank you, thank you. Yes, let's do this. Let's do this together. Because it's needed. It is so needed. So that's an example of policy that's being put in place to hopefully have better outcomes for children in foster care, especially so we can keep them within their family, within their communities, before they're adopted out to complete strangers and having to deal with an identity crisis of who am I? Because that's a thing. So yeah, like I said, my book is available on pre-order. I will make sure the link is visible when I get done chatting it up here. And hopefully next time that I go live, I'm going to try to do this on a consistent basis. More people will join and more people will have questions and comments, because I'm trying to have a dialogue here. I'm trying to have a conversation. Yeah. So yeah, I had told myself I'm going to try the first time for 30 minutes just to see how this goes. And, you know, I'm still not sure how it went, because I'll have to see how many folks plug into the replay and what comments I get from the replay and how many shares. Please do share this out with as many people as you can, because the conversation is now. The time is now. The conversation is now. Let me know. I'll come on. Okay, cool. I will. I'm still juggling in my brain if this is going to be a once a week thing or a daily thing or every other day. I'm not sure. I'm new to it. I'm brand spanking new, and basically trying to build a movement, I suppose, of wildflowers. So yeah. I mean, so far I can say this has been pretty good. I'm so happy, Ocean George, that you were here and able to come through and have some interaction and actually understand what I'm saying. So yeah, it's going to take all of us with lived experience. I'm talking about foster parents, adoptive parents, foster kids, former foster youth, adopted people, because everybody sees it from a different angle. And we all need to have like agreed upon language and understand the problem to fix it, to repair it, or to tear it down and start over. I don't know. So that's a conversation for sure for another day. And yeah, I don't know. I think this is so too important to ignore. And hey, I wish I was strong enough sooner, but everything in divine timing. You go live on TikTok every day. Yes, I do. I go live on TikTok daily. And I'm just now starting to reach out to my Facebook community. If any of my Facebook community is on TikTok, you can join me there too. But I'm trying to have this conversation with as many people as possible on all social media platforms, period. So yeah, thank you for pointing that out, Esther M. Goolsby, my life partner, my wife. So yeah, is there a timer I can look at? No. Nope. See, I'm new to this platform as far as going live. I'm not new to Facebook, but I am new to going live on Facebook. Ocean George said, everything you said, I truly feel this deep in my soul, as I was a foster kid and one of my brothers adopted, one never picked, and one aged out of the system. So please tell your story. And my husband adopted his first daughter. So this is definitely needed. We have to teach people. Yes, we do. Thank you so much for chiming in with that. Because like I said, inspiration. We all need to tell our stories, because so many over on the other platform, somebody actually put in my comments, how was the orphanage? And you're just like Annie. It's like, no, actually, no. So many people, that's their reference point to child welfare. Annie, Different Strokes, The Blind Side. I think that's what it's called. And I'm like, oh, no, people, no. That's Hollywood. That is for entertainment, not for real life. So yeah, read as many memoirs as you can to get the real information. I think people with lived experience, like myself, like Ocean George, need to be leading the charge to make changes in this broken system. Is it broken beyond repair? That's another day. We're going to talk about that. Is it broken beyond repair? Some people think it is. Some people think it's too wrapped up in colonialism and destruction to be repaired. That might be true. And then if that is true, what we going to do about it? We going to start a whole new system called family welfare? Because I think that's a possibility. I don't know. But whatever we decide, my wonderful, beautiful group of wildflowers, we're going to decide together and we're going to charge full speed ahead like a bull in a china shop. Yeah. So with that said, I think this was a pretty good first time. I really do. All I can say now is live your wild and wonderful life because you deserve it. Ocean George said, because there are still kids living it. Yes. Yes, there are kids in the system right now, right this moment, going through some of the nonsense I went through and lived through and had to go through multiple modalities of healing from. So yeah. So today, 50-year-old Marika, orphan girl, is living her wild and wonderful life because I deserve it. I deserve it. I was robbed of it for so long. Robbed, okay? Just robbed. And I will not allow the next 50 years of my life to be like basically 0 through 35-ish, 40. That's how long that I've been like, and I'm still healing. I'm still healing. And I'll get into that on a deeper level too. So for National Adoption Awareness Month, let's focus on family preservation and reunification. Let's focus there. Let's highlight the stories that we were able to reunite families. That should be celebrated. Not families permanently ripped apart. All right. I think I've said enough for now. So please go live your wild and wonderful life. Look for me on all social media platforms. Please do support on all social media platforms. Please get your pre-order in. Support this former foster youth / adoptee in getting the word out that we coming through like a bull in a china shop to make change. We are flowers, soft, delicate, beautiful, smell good, all that, but we are strong enough to break concrete. All right. Bye.